Carousel of Life, Day 18, In the Rain. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written based on the Adrinette April 2019 daily prompts. If you missed any of the previous chapters, you can either find links to them in the description box or click on the card in the upper right corner for the playlist. Now, let's take a ride on the Carousel of Life. Tikki, do you think I was wrong?
About what?
Marinette slowly brushed on a wing of eyeliner before peeking at Tikki through the mirror. The girl Adrian's in love with. Maybe it's not Ladybug. Tikki's face was neutral.
Why do you say that?
He said she doesn't like him back. Marinette gave her face a final once-over in the mirror. When would I ever have told Adrian I didn't like him? And when did he ever confess to Ladybug? If she hadn't been so preoccupied with gathering her essentials into her school bag, Marinette would have caught the sorrowful expression on Tikki's face. As it was, the tumult of thoughts running through her mind distracted her from the Kwame's lack of response. Tikki, do you think I should visit him as Ladybug?
Marinette!
Tikki swooped in front of her charge's face to give her a firm warning look.
Don't you think that would complicate things even more?
Marinette sighed, collapsing onto her chaise longue. You're probably right. Maybe I should just stop thinking about it. It doesn't matter who he likes.
He said he likes you.
I know. Marinette sighed again, more heavily this time. But he's still in love with the other girl. Tikki softened, coming to nuzzle Marinette's cheekbone.
At least he was honest with you, so you don't have to worry so much.
Tikki, Marinette whined, not caring if she sounded juvenile. I hate not knowing things.
Marinette, you can't know everything.
Tikki frowned.
Isn't it enough that he said he liked you?
Marinette opened her mouth to retort, but changed her mind. Yes, it's enough. As if sensing that Marinette wasn't satisfied, Tikki went on.
You still have plenty of time to develop your relationship with him, Marinette. You don't have to rush. Just take it one step at a time. You're right, Tikki,
Marinette mumbled, standing. Maybe it's better if we just stay friends for now while he's sorting out his feelings. No need to rush into anything.
Don't forget your umbrella,
Tikki reminded her as she made her way toward the trapdoor.
It's pouring.
Yeah, thanks. Marinette made a dash to grab Adrian's umbrella from the corner, the one he had lent her on his first full day of school, the day she fell in love with him. He probably hadn't intended for her to keep it, but she couldn't bring herself to return it. She didn't usually bring it to school, but using it to run errands had made her feel closer to Adrian than she was. Now that they were actually getting closer, maybe she could return it. Aside from shy glances and smiles exchanged between classes, the day went just about the same as any other school day. Marinette was in a funky headspace, half wondering if she'd just imagined Adrian confessing to her. Then again, there was no reason to expect any major change. Several times throughout the day, Marinette typed out messages asking about their ice cream date, only to chicken out and delete each one. If only he would show her some sign of indication that it wasn't all in her head, that he really wanted to spend time with her. Why was this so hard? What was a confession supposed to mean about their relationship? When the final bell rang, Adrian walked out with Nino, who was talking animatedly about something, while Marinette briefly discussed a project with Julika. By the time she got out to the front of the school, hoping to see him, his car was already pulling away. She felt a stab of disappointment, but before she could panic, her phone sounded with an incoming message. Sorry, I wanted to catch you on the way out, but Nino was talking my ear off and I couldn't ask my bodyguard to wait. Do you think Andre will be out today? Marinette smiled, anxiety draining away. So he hadn't forgotten. Still up for ice cream then? We could look for him. Or you could come over for hot cocoa. Adrian's responses came quickly. Staying dry sounds nice. I just have to pretend to go home first. I'll text you later. Marinette face-palmed. You're going to sneak out? Adrian didn't answer right away, so Marinette stepped out into the rain toward the bakery. Heavy drops pounded noisily against the umbrella. She tiptoed around a puddle, regretting her choice to wear ballet flats as water soaked through the soles regardless. It was really coming down. She wanted to see Adrian, of course, but the idea of him having to sneak out made her feel uneasy in case his father decided to take him out of school like the book incident. She wondered if it was something he did often. Shaking the excess water off the umbrella, Marinette stepped in through the back door.
It'll be okay. See you at your house at 4:30.
Please don't get in trouble because of me. We can hang out next time you're allowed out.
After this weekend? Don't know when that'll be.
True. He had mentioned that he'd be on a tight leash for at least a month after that excursion.
Don't worry, I'm an expert at this.
Marinette felt conflicted, but she caved.
Okay, see you at 4:30.
Ever since her childhood, Nona Gina had always made hot cocoa in a mix between the French and Mexican styles, dark and rich but with a pinch of chili for an extra kick. Now, Marinette wouldn't drink it any other way. She wondered if Adrian had ever tried it like that. She checked the cupboards for the ingredients. Of course, there was dark chocolate. Heavy cream and milk were in the refrigerator. But no more chili powder. There was plenty of time to run to the store to grab some before Adrian was supposed to arrive. Retrieving her rain boots from the closet, Marinette slipped them on, grabbed Adrian's umbrella, and departed the house for the second time. She was halfway back home, chili powder safely tucked into her purse, when something hit the umbrella with a rapid-fire series of sharp thwacks that sent tremors down the handle. About 5 sharp needles were sticking through the canopy, centimeters from her head. Peeking from under the umbrella, she saw an akuma bounding from rooftop to rooftop, firing poison darts at random, looking for something. Or someone. Probably Ladybug and Cat Noir, to make the obligatory attempt to swipe their Miraculouses before going off to exact revenge on whoever had made her angry enough to get akumatized. The akuma's inhuman features indicated that she was an attractive young woman, with blazing orange hair, wearing a stylish white knee-length vest that flared out at the waist, over an iridescent blue skin-tight outfit and knee-high boots. Senses heightened, Marinette dashed into the nearest alley and called on Tikki to transform. The akumatized victim landed on a neighboring roof, leering at Ladybug. She extracted a handful of darts from a small quiver at her waist, sliding them into a tube that she raised to her lips. Ladybug waited until the projectile was headed her way before lifting the umbrella, while simultaneously rolling away, letting the dart sink into nylon in vain. Abandoned, the handle clattered against concrete. The diversion worked. By the time the akuma caught up with her, Ladybug was on the rooftops, ready for combat. It hadn't been 5 minutes before Cat Noir dropped in like clockwork, twirling his staff like a baton.
Need some help, LB?
Most civilians were already indoors due to the rain, and whoever was out quickly cleared the streets once they noticed the rampaging akuma. The fight was relatively contained. Yet, a few minutes in, Ladybug could sense that her partner was off his game.
What's going on?
Ladybug hissed, yanking Cat Noir behind an ad post for a quick huddle. Meanwhile, the akuma attempted to disentangle herself from where Ladybug's yo-yo had pinned her to a street lamp.
You're distracted.
I'm fine.
He was obviously lying. Ladybug glared at him. She hated when he acted distant and sullen. The drama was unnecessary when they needed to be in sync and focus on the battle.
Whatever's happening, leave it at home and help me defeat this thing.
She wasn't sure what kind of reaction she expected, but it wasn't the defeated look in Cat Noir's luminescent eyes as he met her gaze unsmiling.
You got it, LB,
he said softly.
Sorry.
Ladybug's anger faded.
Bad day?
A slight loss of tension in her yo-yo string indicated the akuma was making some headway in getting free. She pulled it taut, retightening the bonds.
Something like that.
She placed her free hand on his shoulder in what she hoped was a comforting manner. It's okay, kitty. Everyone has an off day now and then. I'll cover you this time. She winked and retracted her yo-yo, steeling herself to go back into battle. Her eyes may have lingered on Cat Noir for a moment too long. The next thing she knew, his hands were digging painfully into her deltoids as he swapped positions with her, placing his back between her and the akuma. He drew in a sharp breath, wincing in pain, and Ladybug saw a dart protruding from his left shoulder.
Cat!
She cried in horror.
That was my fault!
Ladybug grit her teeth. This was the first hit that had landed, and they didn't know what effects to expect. Prussian blue seeped above the collar of Cat Noir's suit, like ink pooling beneath his skin. Ladybug shuddered at the sight. He didn't disappear, transform into anything menacing, or attack Ladybug, so it should be safe to keep him close. Pulling her partner behind her protectively as she spun her yo-yo as a shield, Ladybug eyed the Akuma intently, plotting her next move. It shouldn't be hard to get that pipe, even with Cat Noir incapacitated.
Hang in there, kitty,
she murmured before launching into the offensive. By the end of the fight, Cat Noir's movements had grown increasingly more sluggish, and his coordination shot as if he were drugged, but he was still on his feet. Out of sheer force of determination, he had managed to make himself a human pincushion for every blow that made it near Ladybug. The battle hadn't lasted long, but Ladybug's nerves were buzzed from seeing Cat Noir stagger into the line of fire again and again. She wanted to scream at him that she was perfectly capable of dodging the blows, that he didn't need to do this. It was a relief when the pipe finally crumbled under a cataclysm, releasing the toxic purple butterfly. Cat Noir immediately collapsed as if he'd reached the limit of his strength. His skin was all sickly blue. Cleansing the butterfly in a hurry, Ladybug threw the lucky charm and ran to his side to wait for the healing magic to run its course. His arm was a dead weight. She lifted his head onto her lap, stroking a lock of hair back to clear his face. It wasn't the first time she'd been afraid of losing him, and she knew it wouldn't be the last.
Completely unnecessary,
she choked on angry tears.
You idiot!
His eyes remained closed until the magic Ladybug swept by, restoring his health and strength. His eyes fluttered open, unfocused at first, and then widened in surprise. He must have realized he was on Ladybug's lap, and his body tensed, trying to pull himself up. Ladybug laid a hand on his shoulder, indicating for him to stay.
It's okay,
she breathed, so relieved to see her partner back to normal that she pressed a soft kiss to his forehead.
Thank you for protecting me, kitty, but please don't do that again.
It was some sort of venom.
Cat Noir gazed off at nothing in particular.
I didn't have the strength to fight, but I wanted to help.
Didn't I say I'd cover you? You could have sat this one out.
He shot her a rueful smile.
We both know you can't take hits for me, LB.
The flirtatious tone petered out of his response. He continued in a somewhat wry tone.
As long as I've got my wits about me and breath in my lungs, I'll protect you, Ladybug.
Ladybug narrowed her eyes at him.
You don't have to overdo it.
Sometimes his eagerness to jump in front of danger for her sake scared her.
I have superpowers too, you know,
she reminded him.
I'm not a damsel in distress. You don't have to protect me unnecessarily.
Cat Noir didn't answer, but the hollow look was back in his eyes. The victim was stirring. They should check on her. Feeling weary, Ladybug helped her partner to his feet. The fight had taken them several blocks down. After parting ways to detransform, Marinette jogged back to the alley where she'd first transformed to retrieve Adrienne's umbrella. She was soaked to the bone. Even her water-resistant trench coat wasn't a match for the curtains of rain pelting from the sky. It must have been purely due to magic that the Akuma's darts hadn't been thrown off course. The umbrella was upside down, water pooling in the segments. She took it out and held it over her head as she turned back homeward. About a block away from the bakery, she heard a pattering of footsteps and spotted Adrienne running from the opposite direction. He was wearing a coat but had no umbrella.
Adrienne, why don't you have an umbrella?
She cried, rushing to offer him shelter. Her eyes widened with realization.
Oh my gosh, I stole it!
He blinked.
You still have that?
He asked in disbelief. Marinette nodded, hanging her head in shame.
I didn't mean to steal it.
It's okay, I have others,
Adrienne reassured her.
I just had to run out in a hurry today.
Come on, you're gonna catch cold,
she urged, pulling him toward the bakery.
Hold on, why are you soaked if you have an umbrella?
Adrienne pushed aside her dripping bangs questioningly, exposing her forehead as she paused to open the door.
Oh, yeah, you know I'm clumsy. Don't ask,
she mumbled, letting him imagine whatever scenario might have happened. He gave her a bemused look and softly teased,
You take clumsiness to artisan levels, Marinette. Another one of your many talents.
Water pooled around their feet as they tripped into the bakery and stood in the entrance, letting the door swing shut behind them. There weren't any customers at the moment, and the quiet atmosphere settled as they left the storm behind. Sabine was already there with towels, throwing rags on the floor to soak up the excess water. Tom looked up from the counter, looking not at all pleased to see Marinette sopping wet.
Sorry, Mama. We should have come in through the back.
It's fine, sweetie. Sabine dismissed her daughter's worries. Leave your shoes here and go on upstairs to get dry. Adrienne, Marinette should have some clothes in your size.
Way to expose me, Mama. Oh yeah, practicing for men's fashion, Marinette mumbled, face burning as she took the steps ahead of Adrienne to hide her embarrassment.
Marinette used her parents' bathroom to dry off and change quickly so she could prepare the hot cocoa without making Adrienne wait too long. By the time she made it back up with a tray in hand, he was sitting at her desk chair, flipping through an instructional book about different sewing techniques. He dropped the book as if caught in the act.
Sorry, this was on your desk.
Marinette laughed, setting the tray on the floor as she took the last few steps up and gently closed the trap door.
You're welcome to read it, or anything in my room for that matter. You already found my best-kept secret anyway.
Did you make these clothes too, Marinette?
Adrienne fingered the navy blue double-breasted linen button-down shirt that he had folded to the elbows, paired with dark gray slacks. Marinette nodded.
Wow, I'm impressed. The cut looks really smart.
Of course it looks good on you, Adrienne.
Marinette blushed.
No, seriously, you're really talented.
He poked at the book he'd been reading.
This all seems so complicated. I don't know how you do it. It's like magic to me. As in, turning a drawing on a page into an actual piece of clothing. I have no idea how to get from point A to point B. My father would be ashamed of me.
Don't say that. He isn't ashamed of you.
Marinette recalled the way Gabriel boasted about his son's perfection to Ladybug. Maybe he objectified Adrienne a little. But he's really proud of you, actually. I can tell.
When he remembers me, maybe.
Adrienne muttered under his breath, barely audible. Marinette's heart ached at the words, but since he obviously hadn't intended to be heard, she didn't say anything. She picked up the tray and brought it over to her desk.
And voila!
Dupain-cheng special hot cocoa and fresh croissants. Would you like chili in your cocoa? That's how my nonna always made it. It's really good, but I didn't add it in yours yet, just in case. Adrienne's eyes crinkled in a smile.
Sure, I'll try it.
As Marinette added the chili and stirred, she peeked at Adrienne. He was watching the swirling spoon with a faraway expression, and the smile had faded. Marinette put down the spoon.
Are you okay? Did something happen?
I'm fine. It's nothing.
Contrary to his words, his eyes reddened as if he were holding back tears. Marinette wasn't fooled. She put a hand to his cheek and gently turned his face until he met her eyes.
Maybe I am catching a cold?
He offered, wearing his model smile. Marinette narrowed her eyes.
Why are you lying to me?
Adrienne's face fell, his resolve crumbling.
I saw the girl, he admitted.
Really?
Marinette struggled to keep a straight face. She hadn't seen Adrienne as Ladybug today. Unless he'd seen her without her knowing? But why would he be so torn up over a glimpse? She shoved these thoughts away to be present in the moment with him.
It doesn't matter who this girl is, Ladybug or not,
she told herself, swallowing her feelings. Sighing, she pulled Adrienne into a hug. He was still sitting in the desk chair, head bowed slightly, and from her standing position he fit comfortably under her chest.
I thought I was getting over her, but then I saw her today, and it was the same feeling again. It's always been the same.
He buried his face in the crook of Marinette's arm, and she felt tears soak through her shirt.
It's not like I even have any hope. She thinks I'm annoying, and I've already given up on her. I don't want to love her anymore. I just can't help it, and it hurts. How do you stop loving someone?
I don't know, Adrienne. Who would find Adrienne annoying? Definitely not Ladybug. The realization was uncomfortable, but she tried to ignore her own feelings in favor of giving Adrienne the support he needed. You don't have to rush to get over her. This seemed to make Adrienne cry harder for some reason. When he finally spoke, his voice was small and hesitant.
Marinette, may I ask you something? Just in case.
Go ahead.
You wouldn't keep a secret from me, would you?
His voice was feeble, vulnerable, miserable, as if he were groping in the dark for a lifeline. The question chilled Marinette. There was only one secret she had to keep. But nonetheless, he had asked as a hypothetical, so she could give a hypothetical answer. Of course not. No. The words burned in her stomach, like bitter medicine. Thank you for listening to Chapter 18 of Carousel of Life. What did you think? Let me know in the comments. As always, leave a like if you liked it and don't forget to subscribe for future updates. Until next time.